Hey guys, welcome to WandaVision Episode 4 Angry Review. We have a brand new one, and this one is quite crazy. It goes light speed here. Now we're actually getting to the story. It's ramping up, so let's give you our thoughts. I do want to give a shout out to our ongoing sponsors, not only Surfshark to help you watch these kinds of things if it's, geo-blocked in your area or anything like that, but also G Fuel for keeping us going and getting all this good content out for you guys and keeping us pumped, right? So thank you to G Fuel and Surfshark. We got links down below to either one of those, so consider supporting them. It supports our show. So let's jump right into the review. Episode 4 starts much different from every other episode. Tell me.
We basically...
I've been waiting for.
Yeah, we got confirmation on what it was.
And more.
Yeah.
We got a lot more than just normal there's some revelations here that I don't know if I wanted.
Some returning cast, which is also pretty good with, Katie and...
Kat Dennings, I don't remember her name.
Yeah, the
Thor the one from Thor, the character from Thor.
The lady, who cares about who are you, lady? I don't care. Moving on. So basically we don't do. I was expecting the 80s. I was expecting to go back into the television. We don't get that. We get sort of a reset episode, and it makes sense because there's only 9 episodes. That right here towards the middle we get the story on the outside. So this is all about the aftermath of what Wanda is doing, what's happening on, not the aftermath, but what's currently going on the outside. But we do actually get our first scene of what it's like since the vanishing. I don't know what the event is called, when Thanos snapped his fingers and everybody left.
The snap.
The snap, that's right. Okay,
snap,
so the first scene is people are coming back from the snap.
This is coming back from when Hulk snaps.
Yeah, when Hulk snaps, you get some people back, and they're like people are. I was always wondering, is like, what happens if you materialize in somebody else? That doesn't happen, but she does ran smack into some guy that materializes, and so she actually the character This episode is mainly focusing on Monica Rambeau, okay? And Monica Rambeau is one of the people that were phased back into existence. She's in a hospital, I guess is where she was last, where she got news that her mom is okay. The cancer is subsided and everything's fine. But she gets the bad news from the doctor as she's looking for her mom. What's going on here? That, no, your mom passed away. Your mom is dead.
3 years ago.
You've been gone a long time. And she's like, what? So she didn't understand.
I was only gone for a couple of days.
Exactly.
No, it was
so
years.
that kind of stuff can be super traumatic. It was interesting from a character standpoint. The first time we get to see that, so I like that. Yeah. And we're in the real world, not TV land for a start. And, so basically, who was her mom?
Maria Rambeau is what we got from Captain Marvel. So she establishes SWORD, she builds everything up, and that's who she was.
And so I guess the story picks right up where she just picks up her job where she last left off, I guess.
3 weeks later.
It was 3 weeks later?
It has to be 3 weeks later because when the snap happens, that's during Endgame's fight.
Yeah.
Like, the second she comes back, Thanos and Captain America are fighting each other right now. So it has to be 3 weeks later.
That movie.
Yeah.
And know that that's going on in the background. But I did find it odd that they just let disappeared people go back to work in, highly sensitive security positions and shit like that. I think there would be people that are like,
when your mom builds the company, goes look.
Yeah. And there are certain restrictions on what assignments she can take. They kind of keep her, I guess, what they said, earthbound or something. Terrestrial bound stuff. And she's obviously not the leader of the SWORD. That was her mom. So she's not acting director or anything like that. But she does talk with the acting director guy here who seems to know her, lets her into the place because security's like, who do you think you are? Your card doesn't work. Get out of here.
I work here.
But no, she works there. But she's like an agent of SWORD. I don't know, so stupid. Sword and shield, but whatever. Okay, humans. So your little sword. So anyways, so they do this basically an investigation into what's going on. And I guess it's first brought up by the FBI guy. I don't know how they factor him in here, but the FBI is also interested in what's going on because of a missing persons case. But you would think that, I mean, missing persons, you don't give a shit. I mean, you know how many people went missing on that? But I guess this is after they all came back. So
and this one's it's a missing person from the witness protection program, and so maybe it was more high level than that.
High level stuff. And so, but before we go there, we're actually introduced to another reoccurring character. What's her name? Let's see. No One Cares lady.
Kat Dennings.
Miss Lewis. Kat Dennings. What do you think of Kat Dennings' character?
I like her. She's a great actress. She's got stuck in that shitty Thor movie, but what are you going to do?
She's spent the last couple of years getting her doctorate, so good on her.
Sure. I found her a little annoying myself. She's a little asshole. No One Cares lady is basically what I'm going to call her from now on, because it's like...
Yeah, she didn't need to tear that guy down.
She didn't need to tear that guy down. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Nobody cares about you. That's what I said. I was like, nobody cares about you. So so she goes along and she's like asking everybody to get her coffee and shit like that when she gets in there. She's hot shit. She is technical, knows a lot about what's going on in terms of, signals and shit. And so they bring her in as an expertise to the SWORD organization. And she immediately figures out that there's some waves, some low-level radiation,
cosmic
CBMMBs.
Yes.
Cosmic radiation from the Big Bang, because the Big Bang is where we get the Infinity Stones, and the Infinity Stones is where Wanda gets her power from. And
there you go. So nice, Alex. Okay. So, but there's also some like microwave signals or radio signals on top of all that, or mixed into it, and so she gets the idea.
Microwave's my specialty.
Yeah. Your food, right? and then she gets this like old freaking unit, and then she starts to pick up visuals.
From?
It was under the desk. You clearly saw where
there's equipment everywhere.
Who would bring that? It's like, all right, this is like high tech shit. It's like, oh, here's this old timey thing. It's like, why?
I need a 1950s TV, and it's like, oh, I got one in my desk. It's like, of course you do.
She had to get
hipsters.
So she asked them to go get her coffee and a TV, damn it, and everybody's like, all right, fine, because they were impressed with her skill. And then also, we've got the other character, returning character. I like that these little side characters get a return, right? So
Alex,
go ahead, the FBI agent. You pointed out an Easter egg.
Oh yeah, when he pulls out his business card, and he does the magic trick, and I loved it. It's a great character arc, because it was such a big deal to him, and it made him so happy in Ant-Man.
What in Ant-Man?
Yeah, because Scott Lang is so bored that he's been doing magic tricks. He's like, how did you do that? And so he learns how to do.
So Monica Rambeau meets the FBI agent out there who's talking with the police guys, just showing him the magic trick. He comes up, tries to impress her too. She's okay.
It is impressive.
Like, what's going on there? And then they realize that these cops are like, what are you talking about? There's no Westview here.
There's no such place.
No such place. And they're like, the sign says Westview right there. And they're like, oh, yeah? Well, where are you from, cops? And they're like, I'm from Eastview. All right. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Like, that's creepy as fuck. Like, some cops, too, like, denying a fucking city. I like that little thing. I wish I would have played more into that. But we actually don't even see what direction the cops drive in. I guess they go back into the city, or maybe they drive that way. I don't know. But everybody has collective amnesia around the city, and then you cannot enter the city because there's this feeling like it doesn't want you there, and nobody is...
It looks very haunting when you do that.
Yeah. It was kind of cool. And she's like, well, what? All right, let me see what's going on here. She brings out a little RC helicopter. And flies it in there. It disappears. She's like, what the hell? And then she does the stupidest thing I've ever seen an agent do. Like, what the hell?
Let me touch you with my face.
It's not the dumbest thing you've ever seen. We've seen
one
Prometheus.
of the dumbest things.
Remember, we watched that movie Prometheus, where the scientist...
This is on Prometheus' level. That's in fact what I was talking about. Like, what the fuck? She pulls a Prometheus. She's like, I see some bullshit happening here. This sort of TV... shield thing, energy thing, radiation thing.
And you saw when it did to the helicopter. It's like, where did it go?
Right.
I don't know.
Two grown men standing in front of you goes, no, that place doesn't exist. It's like, oh, this thing seems really interesting.
So that was stupid as fuck. So she puts her hands on it, then gets sucked inside. And they also make an allusion to, well, how do you know about this place? And then, so maybe, and then they kind of talk about maybe a connection. There's some kind of connection to the place or something like that. And that could be why she got sucked in and then roped into it. Into Wanda's delusion, and then even given a speaking role or something, maybe because Monica herself is connected to this stuff, or she's just a bystander that got sucked in, and Wanda thought she was a great actress, so she promoted her to a speaking role. So you get some cool stuff like that we get to see what some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and the stuff out of place in Wanda's world was. And that was basically attempts from S.W.O.R.D. to find out what's going on with the little fucking RC drone. So basically, all of the reality, the theories were way cooler. The reality is a little less cool. Like, it's not a real helicopter that came in. I was like, oh man, it's probably a real helicopter. No, it's a drone. And then she turned that drone into a retro helicopter because I was like, that drone doesn't match with the other drone. And
the beekeeper.
And the beekeeper. The beekeeper who's what?
He was an agent trying to go underneath in sewer line, and once he transferred over, he just turned into a beekeeper.
Yeah, I was kind of, and then when he came up, or no, when they pulled his line, because his line snapped, it was like a little jumping rope, right? So she was, when you go into her world, she crafts it into a way that makes sense for her. And so I guess she decided to choose beekeeper, but why choose beekeeper?
Because it's the closest thing that looks like a hazmat suit. Like,
yeah, but she sewage worker. I guess you're right. That's a good point, Alex. But again, less cool than it's not Mephisto, Hail Spawn coming up, and something a little more sinister where the agent is corrupted himself by Mephisto. None of that shit is happening. It is basically simple as fuck. And this is what can happen when you have a story stretched out over more time that, it's like we do the theory crafting and we come up with way cooler theories than what it actually is. It's a relatively simple story.
Oh, that sounds badass, but then
pretty predictable the whole time going. And if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm sorry, but you're a little dense, So it sucks because I wish there was a little more layers to it, and that could still be the case. There could still be some additional layers here, and there definitely is some layers because we don't know the supporting lady cast, Agnes.
That's what I was going to say, because they were identifying everyone except for her, so she might just be something else, too.
That's another thing, So S.W.O.R.D. is putting two and two together. They're basically saying, these are residents of the city, maybe even some people from around that are just getting speaking roles and acting roles. It made me interested, though, in who are those names in the credits. Maybe that could be another Easter egg.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to check out.
Yeah, so I'm sure maybe heavy spoilers or another.
Someone did the music. I was like, who is that?
Screen Crush could give us. Yeah, go watch their videos again. I always like to shout them out. But so anyway, the TVs that she it's broadcasting to the outside what's going on the inside. I don't know. Is that Wanda's vanity? Like, why does she? If that didn't happen, they would be a lot more in the dark. You know what I mean? So I guess it's just an after effect of one of her powers that people can look in, and not really her like everybody watch this, kind of thing. So, but without that, it would be tough to figure out. But eventually, once they lose Rambo in there, they eventually the series does this really cool transition after we kind of get the story of what's going on outside. And then when we go back inside to the world, we go back to the 70s episode, the Brady Bunch episode, where Monica was asking too many questions and she was mentioning Ultron and stuff that she shouldn't know. And I just love that transition. It's like, I felt a little creepy.
Aspect
ratio changes, the color, the quality changes a little bit. And we get to see what happened. So what happened, because they kind of cut away and then they had Vision walk in the last episode. Well, what actually happened there?
Well, on the outside, all you see is a glitch, but we actually do see what happens on the inside. She's like, why'd you say that? Who are you? She's like, how do you know this stuff? She's like, you don't belong here. She starts doing her powers, and bam, she get blown out the door, out the window, and out the little portal.
Through the wall, through the fence, through the other wall, through the other fence.
She's
through the tree.
using her. She's going, you know. And I'm like, look, if I was Monica at that point, I'd be like,
Run!
I just helped you deliver twin babies. Your babies are right there. Like, I would make her like try to not kill me. Because I thought she was going to die at that point. You would think that you were going to die. Well, I guess if you're going through fucking multiple walls, she should have died, but whatever. She's photon secretly. I don't fucking know. So anyway, she does just get blown through the wall, and Monica, not Monica, but Wanda covers it all up by reconstructing everything.
But it really messes with her, too. Cause
it does mess with her.
See Vision.
Just coming in.
Dad version of Vision.
The scariest thing
this
that's
is
ever
a huge
existed.
thing, Joe. I was going to talk about it, and you know, that as it pulled her out of the world. Every time she gets some kind of outside influence via the radio, there was a segment where the No One Cares lady decides to use the radio to contact it, and this time, because she had a momentary lapse in judgment, or not judgment, but just creating the world, she actually sees Vision in what I assume his true form right now. It was fucking creepy.
It's the scariest thing that we've ever seen in there.
Which is fucking scary. And because to me, Vision's dead. It's a big fucking hole in his head, and she's basically using him as a marionette doll. Is what I'm. It could be something different. It could be like the soul of him is still there. Soul stone. No, I don't know. Some kind of stone that he got. Right? Is the power stone? What's the yellow stone?
He's got the soul stone.
Right. So I don't know, but the idea of her like Weekend at Freddy's, Bernie. Yeah, that's kind of
sex.
Kind of fucking creepy. So you need to explain that, Disney.
True.
Well,
I thought there was no R-rated shit on this. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, well, we know that she's not just controlling him as a puppet, because we've seen several scenes throughout so far that, you know, he's thinking about things and he's figuring it out. That.
Well, how is he alive then? How does he have his own?
We don't know yet.
Okay, it has to be his soul. It has to. She's something.
Or she's done something where she's just like, you are your own person, and then she like severed that part from her psyche. But there has to be something different, because he has asked her questions where he sat down and go, this feels weird, and then she just like snaps her fingers.
That's
and
another
rewinds
true
it.
thing. It could be just her, because that could be not his normal form. So he could maybe not look like that right now, is what I'm saying. That's just her memories of what he looked like immediately when it was happening, because she was having a freak out moment.
It gives me hope. I was actually really worried about the new Doctor Strange movie, because a long time ago they're like, we want to make this a really scary thing. We want to like live up to some of the source material. And then what we heard after that is they didn't want it to make it a horror style movie, and they wanted to make it less scary.
Yeah.
And seeing this where they're willing to show something, especially in the Disney Plus series, is like, okay, now I want to see what they're going to do with Doctor Strange, because that's what's supposed to come directly after this.
That's true.
I want it to be good. I want it to be scary.
Well, unfortunately, that project has been going through a little bit of development hell. They've recycled out some people, made some rework, so we'll see if that ends up hurting that project or helping the project. But as it stands now, we're doing good, because I'm going to say that I really enjoyed this. Alex's prediction was right, where, you know, I was yelling at him, give us one rating, Alex. And he's like, what? There's this feeling in the back of my mind that if this goes the way I think it's going to go, then it's going to bring greater context to these episodes, and I would like to raise my score for some of these episodes. That's now how I'm feeling. I'm moving in that direction. I'm like, okay, now I understand that. Even though I didn't like the 40s stuff and the 50s stuff and stuff like that, but there's greater context to it now, and it was done purposefully in that way, right, kind of thing, that it brings you a little greater appreciation for those previous episodes. So let's go to our final verdicts. Make sure I'm still recording here.
You go first.
I think that this episode is a 10. I think it was really, really well put together. It did provide the context that I was looking for all of those other episodes. I don't think it quite cheapened it the way that you were describing, where it's like now that we kind of know it's less grand, because I still think that there's some mystery here that it could go in a couple different ways, and it's great. I actually needed this episode right now. So whoever decided that the 4th episode needs to be this episode, kudos to you, because I think 3 episodes without context, then get an episode with context, really kind of solidified my enjoyment of the series, really makes me excited for the rest of the series. So 10 out of 10.
Okay, and
I'm gonna give
that's
it a 9.
pretty high, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna give it a 9. I really enjoyed this, and looking back, it's well-rounded now. I look forward to the next episodes. I'm excited for them. There's still some mystery there, so I'm along for the ride. This is a 9 for me.
Yeah. Let's see. So, yeah. I'm between 8 and 9. I'm gonna go 9 as well because it brings greater context to the previous stuff. It's going in the direction that I want it to go now, and it's really cool. And this is what you get to do in a television series. It's like seeing different dimensions and different angles of a 2-hour film. So you're doing a little bit of Blade Runner, right? You know, where he goes in that photo, enhance. So here we enhanced outside of her vision. When in episode 1, 2, and 3, we're enhancing within her little delusion vision. It's great. And so as long as these television shows are at this particular quality level, I'm less disappointed and and less put off by WandaVision. Now it's becoming one of my favorites. And I think that that's justified because WandaVision, I hear, is very expensive to make. A little more expensive than I thought. Let's see.
This
Great
episode
production.
looked very expensive.
Yeah, spending
Get
up to
that old
2...
radio, the old broadcasting thing.
Yeah. WandaVision reported budget $225 million. That's like a fucking movie, man. It's more than one of their movies, dude. So and now when you tell me that, then I'm like, wait, somebody's pocketing some money because it's not
like
that fucking elaborate right now.
28 minutes.
They're ramping up though. Like we saw, there was a sneak peek that stuff that we've seen where they really ramp up the CG. We do see more stuff coming. So we'll have to see.
Let's talk about that now. 10/9/9. They did release on the 29th, which is today, a 1-minute sneak peek teaser here, which basically kind of summed up what we know so far, showed a little bit of the town, showed a little bit of the FBI agent, but we did get peeks. So who predicted... When did we predict that the series would end? Because right away, I think it's going to go up to the 90s at the very least.
Man, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. We need to write this shit down in the future.
You know.
Who was it, Chad?
You
Who's
know.
right? Well, because the 90s might be not where it stops. I think it keeps going.
It looks
because
modern.
we see a scene of Halloween. That could be in any 80s, 90s, or
There's a
beyond.
retro
But you've
vision
got
anyway.
There's a scene of her assembling the house. I don't know why she needs to assemble the house. Maybe this is in between where she
upgraded the whole
upgrades from era to era.
Yeah.
She seems a little shocked, looking a little shocked. But here's a key scene: is that Vision himself reaches the wall, reaches that television bubble. And so again,
he is on his own
it's
mindset.
odd. He has free will, even though he's dead, or is he not dead? In this episode itself, one of the FBI agent on the large board wrote, "Is Vision dead?" They don't know. We don't know yet. We gotta figure it out.
Maybe he's just alive in the bubble. Once he steps out, he's dead. Oh no!
That would suck. Then there's a scene of a vehicle driving He's super fast into the bubble. Is that vehicle going to be able to break through? Is that going to be enough? We see later on we see a helmet, so we don't know who's driving that vehicle. I'm going to assume that that's going to be. There's only 3 possible people that is. Who do you think it is? It's either Rambo, Monica Rambeau, or it's the FBI guy, or it's the nerdy chick. Nobody cares. So who do you think it is? It's got to be Rambo.
It's not going to be the nerdy chick.
It's got to be Rambo, since she's already gone in there and had some history. But we'll see. Or it could just be a random sword agent.
It might be,
Fuck
because I was
that
thinking
guy.
there's a lot of red in that one, because usually whenever something crosses over, there's not red. And this one was like just trying to force its way, so maybe I don't think it's going to make it.
True. That could be, yeah, it'll get pushed out. Yeah. It could just be one of those experiments. And then we also get a scene of Wanda seemingly coming through the vision bubble, like scary looking. Like that shit is cool. We don't actually get to see her exit.
Let me have my peace.
Right.
Now she's fed up.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. And then it ends with confirmation that we will reach at least the 2000s. Because it looks like a little bit like, what?
Modern Family or one of those like,
they're
new ones.
to
The Office or something. It was a Monday kind of thing. So, all that in the sneak preview made me very excited for this. I think she's a great actress. I think Vision is a great actor. And the concept has really delivered.
Yeah, I'm
WandaVision.
still curious about Agnes.
Yeah. I am very curious.
Role?
Yeah. This has 9 episodes in it, so let's continue on. Thank y'all guys so much for watching. Thank you to G Fuel, the Scorpion Sting. I think they restocked the Mortal Kombat. It is like Demon. What is
spicy.
it? It's spicy. I didn't expect it to be spicy. So I was like,
It stinks.
it stinks. So it is an acquired taste, but I like it. And then thank you to Surfshark as well for being our sponsors throughout the series, helping you get around the geo-blocking if for whatever reason you're not able to check out like Disney Plus and stuff on Netflix. So both great services. Go check them down in the links below. And yeah, we'll see you for the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.